There we go. This, hello. I like how I can see you saying burgers on stream, but I can't see it on there. Look, the colors got all muted for no reason, so every single time I have to go into the properties and change the video format to NV12 and then change it back to any, and then it fixes it every stream. Okay, and then I gotta connect this. It didn't work. It didn't work. Okay, so let's see. Why didn't it work? Where to play sound into headphones. I can't hear them, so. Okay, let me think here. Why can't I hear? Okay, so it says that my headphones are connected. Sounds horrible. Something's wrong with my computer's Bluetooth. It's terrible. Okay, so we were looking around the room. I've dropped 4,000 frames? Okay, that's concerning. Alright, let's converse. We already conversed. Let's move. We can't move. Okay, I should read what he said there. Hold on. I'm in handcuffs and under house arrest by the crew, not to mention Susato-san's constant glares. I think it's fair to say that I'm stuck in this cabin for the time being, at least. Okay, I'm glad everything looks good. Maybe it just dropped it right at the very beginning when I launched the stream then. That happens sometimes, but it's pretty rare. I should focus on investigating in here to see what I can find out. Let's look at the writing he did. Did Kazuma write that before he died? It looks like it's written in ink. He must have knocked the ink pot from the desk when he collapsed on the floor. I suppose he wrote this message by dipping his finger in the spillage. It says Repabob. Poor Kazuma-san. Sama. No matter how... No doubt he was in terrible pain. It's almost unbearable to imagine it. I suppose he was trying to leave some kind of a clue in his final moments, wasn't he? I'm sorry, partner, but I can't read your writing. That's it? I don't think that's Japanese, Naruhodo-san. What? Then what language is it? It pains me to admit it, but I don't know. You guys are even closer to Russia than we are, come on. It's not a foreign script I'm familiar with. What does it mean, I wonder? Oh dear, that won't do. Oh, what's the matter, Susato-san? Whenever I'm examining things, I always find myself so focused I forget to look around properly. I know, Russian, obviously. Ah, yes, that's not good. I don't suppose you're as foolish as me in that regard, are you, Naruhodo-san? I mean, I can turn my head if that's what you're saying. I'm sure. I'm sure you're careful to look at all things using left D-pad, right D-pad, aren't you? Now let's investigate all corners of this cabin. Yes, let's do that. I suppose my field of vision has been rather small until now. Not really. Wow! Left D-pad, right D-pad works. I never even knew I had a D-pad. Yes, it's a bell cord contraption, I think. What do you mean, contraption? I read about it in a book I was studying that talked about life in Great Britain. Large households often have bell cords like this, which you can pull to ring a bell to summon servants. Really? That sounds almost magical. Shall we give it a little try? Yes! In the interest of cultural research, obviously. A recap is we completed our last case where we found out that we are not the murderer. And then, after finding out that we weren't the murderer, we, Kazuma-sama or whatever, he was able to go on his trip to New Great Britain, England or whatever. And so, together, we decided to go and be great English people together. And for some reason, we don't really know why he decided to invite us, but he did. And we stowed away because we didn't buy a ticket. Because reasons. And since we didn't buy a ticket, somebody came in and killed Kazuma while we were sleeping in the closet. Which we would have had to do for 50 days. Boy, what a great trip. Anyway, somebody killed him while we were sleeping in the closet. And now we're blamed for it. Why? Because we were nearby. And there's nowhere that the guy could have escaped because the bolt was broken. Or they had to force themselves in. There's probably a window behind us that they jumped out of that we can't see or something. I don't know. Anyway, Kazuma's dead. Which sucks because he was the best character, but whatever, I guess. And now we have to prove our innocence. Because this is Japan, and you are guilty until proven innocent. Kind of like modern day America. Anyway. I suppose nobody comes for lowly Japanese people. No. I'm just sure that everyone's busy, that's all. I think that's some kind of opening for a ventilator that somebody could fit through after killing someone, maybe. A hole through which fresh air could circulate into the cabin. Isn't that a little odd? What do you mean? Well, this ventilator, if that's what it is, it looks like it must connect to the next door cabin. Yes, it would appear to, you're right. But if its purpose is to allow fresh air into the room, surely it should be connected to the outside. That's true. Perhaps it's so that rain and spray don't find their way in when the seas are rough? Or something like that? I suppose. Maybe that's it. Maybe your mom killed people. I don't know. Whatever. The books have fallen over on the shelf. Look. They're all toppled in the same way. And what's this? A statue of some god on the sea? Although he's fallen over as well. What if it was the Thinker statue? The Thinker statue murders again! Yes, it's almost as if the whole shelf has been ransacked and everything mown down at once. I wonder if perhaps it was Kazuma-sama's doing his... perhaps it was Kazuma-sama doing his morning sword training, don't you think? I seriously doubt it. Then perhaps... It was you, Naruhodo-san, in a fit of rage. I wouldn't have bothered leaving the wardrobe just to mess up a few books and a statue. Could the way these things have been thrown about have anything to do with the case, I wonder? I don't know, sure, I guess. Well, I'll just set everything straight again. I don't like to see a mess. Well, I guess they're gonna fall over or something. These are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Buria. It's essentially a list of requests from the captain to all passengers on board. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabin. Pets are also strictly forbidden. But not stowaways. So I was legally here. What? Why are you staring at me? Oh, sorry. I was just thinking. Are you more of a dangerous object or a pet? I can't decide. Well, one thing's for sure. Either way, I wasn't supposed to be in here. Although the sign didn't say that, so I must be good to go. When I went for help and the crewman forced the door open, this bolt had been firmly closed. It's quite a small bolt and not particularly sturdy, and it just slides across to secure the door shut. But still, with the door bolted, there should be no way to get in or out of the cabin, that's for sure. No, it's no wonder everyone suspects me. Maybe I did it! I'm kidding. When she glares at me like that, I feel tense all up and down my spine. I remember reading in a detective novel, the culprit used a needle and thread to draw a bolt across from the outside of the room in a situation like this. Yes, that's a clever trick, isn't it? I'm an avid reader of detective stories myself. But the door of this cabin and its frame are made of metal, and they seal together perfectly. There would be no possibility of using that needle and thread trick here, I'm afraid. When she glares at me like that, I feel pins and needles all up and down my spine. It's a very large traveling case, isn't it? Yes, it carries a lot of memories for me. Memories? What do you mean? Well, that's actually how I stowed away on this vessel. I was brought on board inside that case. Ah, yes. I see it says "this way up" in Japanese. Which, in hindsight, I should have realized the foreign crewmen wouldn't be able to read. I was turned over and over and over, and then I was tossed on the floor in here. Oh dear, being a stowaway isn't as romantic as it sounds. Well, it was less painful than the Susato takedown. This is where dear Cosmo would have sat when he was writing. London Diary. Poor Kazuma, he didn't even make it to his destination. It looks as though the last entry is incomplete. Which means, what? He was in the middle of writing it when the incident happened. Let's see what it says. It could be a valuable clue. Hi-ya! That's out of the question. What? Kazuma-sama may have departed from this world, but you may not read his private thoughts. But what if it's something important? Something relevant to the case? Alright, I won't read it. I'll just think about reading it. I know. Why would you not look at that? That's ridiculous. Poor Kazuma-sama. I don't like prying into people's personal matters either. But in this case, isn't the need for more clues important? What then? Who's that? He wasn't there a minute ago. As far as I can tell, he looks like he might be European. Oh, how did he get in here without opening the door? I don't know. You noticed that man too, have you? I have no idea who he is or how he got in here, but he looks suspicious and tall. Suspiciously tall! Naruhodo-san, don't tell me. Do you really not know who that is? Well, no. I don't have any foreign friends or acquaintances at all. He doesn't look like a member of the crew. There's something very unusual about him. And he's investigating Kazuma's desk, or is he just playing on it? I can't tell. Well, in that case, we must simply talk to him. Am I just imagining it, or does Susato sound like almost uncontrollably excited? By the way, I expect that you've noticed already, but just in case, if you press A on people when they're in your crosshairs, you can converse with them. Alright then, I'll get that suspiciously tall gentleman in my sights, and I'll see what he has to say for himself. Oh, please do. Alright, we'll talk to him in just a minute. Let's see here. What do you think this is? It looks like a broken piece of glassware. Whatever this thing was, it appears to have broken clean in two. It looks like a bell. The glass is such a beautiful color. It looks like a cute little Netsuke fastener from a kimono outfit. I'm not sure that sounds like Kazuma. He wouldn't have secretly carried a cute little trinket like this around with him, would he? The mark beside it. What is it, I wonder? It is sort of a brick-like hue. Oh, yes, you're right. It's the color of brick, isn't it? Or blood? Even though I don't see anything in the same color anywhere else in this cabin. It looks like blood. Like a blood streak. Or a poo streak. Maybe a Roomba swept up some poo and spread it around. I don't know. Stranger things have happened. That's my dinner from last night. A roast chicken. It was really tasty. Yes, it was very delicious, wasn't it? But, did you eat it on the floor here? I'm not a dog, Susato-san. I ate it at the table, of course. Which begs the question of, when and how did the plate end up on the floor? I think the boat probably shifted, because everything seems to have moved to the left. The cases shifted to the left, all the books were shifted to the left, the plates on the floor to the left, the tablecloths to the left. But Kazuma-sama didn't like the chicken at all, did he? Oh, but Kazuma-sama didn't like the chicken at all, did he? No, that's right, so he didn't touch it. Which meant all the more for me. Oh no, does that mean poor Kazuma-sama spent his last night on this earth with an empty belly? It's just too horrible. Now I suddenly have a guilty conscience and an achy stomach. There's nothing on this table at all. The plate and cutlery are all over the floor for some reason. Yes, it's strange. Last night when I went to sleep, I'm sure everything was still... No, wait a minute. What is it? That's funny. I can't seem to remember anything about what happened after dinner at all. Because you were knocked out and put in the thing because your head was throbbing, remember? Have you checked your head? Is your head okay? So then perhaps you are responsible for what happened to Kazuma-sama. No! It's really hard to aim this pointer thing. Seigi, the Japanese word for justice. The brushstrokes are straight and true, just like Kazuma. Yes, his calligraphy always was a reflection of his heart. Yet can you really look at those characters without feeling shame? Knowing who drew them so thoughtfully? Of course I can! I mean, I'm innocent, so shouldn't I be able to? Even though you stowed away on this ship? Now you're gonna bring that up, are you? I can't win. The giant freaking sword? That's Kazuma-sama's precious sword. He never went anywhere without it. Yes, he was always saying that a Japanese man's katana is his soul. I believe he had to work very hard to convince the government to allow him to bring that on his trip. I suppose that shows just how important it was to him. Now he's gone, but I'm not ready to let his spirit go just yet. Please let his spirit live on in the sword, and then we take the sword and we summon the spirit of Kazuma, and then we can ask him for advice like Mia Fey. Wow, he studied the blade like the typical American neckbeard. He must have been a Reddit user by heart. Or a Reddit mod. Perhaps I should see what the Russian crewman thinks of the scene of the crime. Excuse me? What? I was wondering how it's going. The investigation, I mean.
grandmother told me Japanese people do not make a joke. But it's not true, I see.
Sorry?
The criminal asking investigator for information about his crime. Very funny.
Oh, it wasn't supposed to be a joke. He doesn't appear to be laughing either. He's convinced you're guilty. He might have useful information, though. I have to keep trying. So, last night, did you notice anything out of the ordinary at all?
Yet, of course not. Now back in corner of room and make silent. I say no more to you.
Did I hit a nerve? Just for a minute there, he seemed a little flustered. He did it! Excuse me. Excuse me, do you have a moment? Shh. This is a critical point in my investigation. Maybe I should leave him alone. He seems a little unfriendly. Yes, perhaps that would be for the best. Greetings. I hope I haven't kept you long. Ah! What exactly were you doing on Kazuma's desk just now? I see. Fascinating. Sorry? What do you see? It looks like he's looking right... feels like he's looking right through me. Oh, yes. Everything is clear now. The train of reasoning has run its course. My deductions have crystallized. You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive. Just returned recently, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry? What? And now, was venturing towards foreign climes, you find yourself in a most troubling predicament. Oh, well, that's true at least. But how? How the deuce did I know that, perhaps? It was really more of most elementary deduction. Hardly worth explaining. Have you perhaps managed to deduce anything else? But of course. Many great things. There's no mystery, my dear madam. For example, you have fled your native land of Russia, being, as you are a merciless revolutionary. You leave 16 victims of assassinations in your wake and now travel to England to blow up the Crystal Tower. And when the bare-boned occupant of this very cabin discovered your identity, you ended his life too. That would be funny. Yes, and I believe that summarizes the facts beautifully. No need to hide the truth now. Nothing deceives these eyes. Just to be clear, you are talking about me, aren't you? Certainly I am. Do you see another in this cabin who fits the bill? A Russian assassin with 16 victims to his name. I don't even see one person who fits the bill. So it's true. It was you who did this to Kazuma-sama. What? And you're plotting a revolution, too. It's shameful behavior, Naruhodo-san. Absolutely wicked. No, listen. There's no way Hiya! Now explain yourself. Tell me everything. This is ridiculous. How could you do it? For pity's sake, open your eyes. I'm not a Russian revolutionary, obviously. Oh, forgive me. And as for you, what kind of deduction was that? You were just saying the first thing that came to your head. Ah. Oh, Ah, but was I not right? Whilst venturing towards foreign climes, you do find yourself in the most troubling predicament, do you not? Well, yes, maybe. Huh! There you have it, you see. What do you make of that, Well, to be honest, this ship is en route to England, and I'm in handcuffs at the scene of a murder. So, I'm not really sure you could call it deduction. It's more plain observation. Indeed, an observation, my dear boy, is the basis of all deduction. My method is founded upon observation of trifles, you see. I announce my finding with a brassy certitude. And more often than not, I'm right. I don't think you introduced yourself. My apologies. How remiss of me. I'm Miles Edgeworth. I'm none other than the greatest detective in the century, known to men and women the world over. The inimitable Sherlock Holmes. Almost violated copyright there. So it really is you, the actual Sherlock Holmes. The very same. The inimitable actual Sherlock Holmes. Do you know this man, Suzato-san? The most famous detective in the world? Naruhodo-san, of course I do. There's nobody who hasn't heard of him. What planet have I been living on, then? We must also ask him what he's deduced. He will have worked out the entire case already, I'm sure. Really? Why do I feel uneasy about this? I hear like samples of some of the other music. Ding, 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 ding. It was like ding 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 or something like that. Great detective. So you're a great detective, are you? Sorry, what was your name again? Indeed, I'm none other than the one and only Sherlock Holmes. I just hydrated. That's funny. There's something that bothers the ever-living heck out of me, and you probably can't even see it on your screen because your screen's too small. I don't think you can see my mouse either, right? No, you can't. The H in Sherlock and the S in Sholmes at the very, very top of the H and the S, like the very last pixel, are white. So his name's supposed to be in orange, and I see little tiny pixels of white. It's really hard to see on my like OBS view. But anyway. It just looks tacky. It just looks unfinished. Oh, I see. You're German? Sherlock, was it? No. I have no air. I mean, I have hair. Please call me Sholmes. It's even in that one, too. You can read about all my exploits in this exciting London publication. Oh, yes. Randist magazine, full of wonderful short stories and interest articles from Great Britain. I never miss an issue. I have it sent from England specially. Ah, yes, here it is. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. It's on the T and the A as well. Their capital letters have the top pixel white. On all capital orange letters, they have the top pixel white. That looks so bad. What the crap, game designers? So you're the protagonist of a series of short stories then. I know, a protagonist. Indeed I am. And you've read so many of your own stories, you started to think you really are a detective. It's on the blue ones, too! The blue ones, the word R, A-R and E, the top pixels of those are white. It's just harder to see because there's less of a contrast between the lighter blue and the white. Ugh. Ugh. Make no mistake, I'm not the poor, deluded fellow you take me for. Your inference is backwards. Backward? My trusty biographer records my greatest detecting achievements and chronicles them in the magazine. You have a biographer, do you? Is the biographer in the room with us now? Doesn't everyone? Mine goes by the name of Dr. Wilson, presently keeping shop in London. So another Wilson, apparently. Is there gonna be a James Wilson, the name of the guy who voiced Godot? Dr. Wilson? That was insanely loud, what the heck? I must say, thanks to that publication, I've been fantastically busy of late. Why, at this very moment, I'm returning from Asia, having solved the mystery of a cursed royal crown. Really? I can't work out whether I should take this man seriously or not. Deduction, you see, is to me a science. Logical reasoning in its purest form. Just like a true Edgeworth should be. A science? Really? The astute observer notices even the most subtle of reactions in his subject. A furtive glance, a twitch of a mustache, a muscle, twitch of a muscle, a slight inclination of the posture. Fingernails, arm sleeves, furrows in the skin. All these things are data. I'm a regular JCS, don't you know? Right. And the trained logician makes deductions from his data in the blink of an eye. The ultimate conclusion is, without fail, the truth. As I demonstrated only a few short moments ago. How can you look him in the eye and claim that? So you see, I have a turn both for observation and deduction and fame. That is what makes me the one and only Herlock Sholmes. That was really long dialogue. Let's go to Kazuma's death. Whoops. Before we started talking, you were examining Kazuma's desk, weren't you? Kazuma? Yes, the victim. Did you notice anything useful? Anything at all? Observe for a moment the desktop of the victim. We see that the victim engaged in penning some text. London diary. Kazuma was keeping notes of the trip. But I don't think you should read his private writings. It could upset people. Tragic. And something you ought to perhaps elucidate before the act of reading. You mean you've read it already? It is my business to know what other people do not. So yes, believe it or not, I know a smattering of Japanese. Oh, I see. Well, you're about to know what a Susato takedown is. Susato-san? Aren't you gonna throw the detective with one of your trademark takedowns? I'm sorry, Naruhodo-san. What on earth do you mean? Life is so unfair. Anyway, to return to the matter at hand, namely, the diary belonging to the victim. It would appear the final sentence is incomplete, as if the author were cut short. Tell me, what is the nature of this writing? Pray be precise as to details. Oh, but I thought you knew Japanese? A smattering, dear boy, a smattering. Sayonara, bonsai, mikado. Nado. I trust you're suitably impressed. Aren't we speaking to each other in Japanese? Like when that lady would speak in English, it was like italics, signifying she was speaking in English. Right, though? Like, we're speaking in Japanese. Maybe he can speak Japanese, he just can't read it? Ah. But this diary is littered with complicated-looking characters of which I can read precisely none. So what was all that showing off about before then? If you would be so kind as to show me, I would be happy to read it to you, Mr. Sholmes. Screw you, Susato. Much obliged, my dear madam. The final entry here in Kazuma-sama's diary consists of just 2 short sentences. The first reads, 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. How does he know what time it is? Aren't we locked in a cabin and we don't have watches or something? Oh, whistling sound? These are very deep waters. Pray go on. The second sentence reads, 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? What on earth does that mean? I have no idea. I've never heard of that expression before. The ventilator grill, you say? The man was presumably referring to the lattice there on the wall, which connects to the adjoining cabin. Yes, the adjoining cabin. Kazuma's diary has been entered into the court record. A diary Kazuma was keeping of his trip to London. According to the last entry he made before his death, he spied what happened to be a speckled band. So a snake. Got it. Kazuma's dead. Have you managed to deduce anything about this particular case yet? Have I managed to deduce anything, my dear fellow? Who do you suppose discovered the culprit in his most cunning hiding place? That's right. It was none other than the great detective before you now, Mr. Sherlock Sholmes. I see. In other words, I'm in these now because of him. When I became anxious about Kazuma-sama this morning, I summoned all the crew members to force the cabin door open. And I concealed myself among their number, gaining entry to the scene of the crime. Yes, luckily for everyone, the great Detective Sherlock Sholmes was on board. And the handcuffs seem to be an excellent fit, Mr. Naruhodo. Ah! The very moment I laid eyes on the scene, 2 facts were immediately apparent to me. Oh, really? 2 facts, you say? Can we talk about your deduction before? The things you concluded about me, I mean. The now famously accurate, troubling predicament you find yourself in. Actually, it was the other details that I was more hoping to discuss. You know, the merciless Russian revolutionary and assassin of 16 part? Yes. The more sordid details. It was a fairly commonplace deduction. Here we have this morning's paper. The main headline reads, Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. This vessel made a port call at Shanghai yesterday, and last night the young Russian was murdered. Since when was Kazuma a Russian? It sounds like Mr. Sholmes has concluded that he was Russian because of what Kazuma-sama wrote on the floor. It was a simple act of reasoning to realize that the culprit of this crime was not the same merciless revolutionary. One who would kill the very man who helped him escape after his true identity was discovered. Yes, you, villain Bolshevik. No, how could that be me? I don't look anything like this, man. Just look at his face. Well, you are a fearsome revolutionary after all. Therefore, you have no doubt learnt to revolutionize your appearance as well. Please. And I might add, your name does not appear on the ship's passenger list. Need I say more? Well, that's because I'm a stowaway. What about the other details? The 16 victims of assassination and blowing up the Crystal Tower? Ah, yes. The journalists clearly interviewed the man and printed all those particular details in the article. The deeds of the man are perpetrated thus far, and those he is plotting. Yes, everything about this revolutionary Bolshevik was included. There could be no mistake. Do revolutionaries usually agree to interviews with newspaper reporters, I wonder? And what about the part where you said I was just returning from Afghanistan? Also quite clearly stated here in the article, Bolshevik has recently returned after a period of subversive activities in a war-torn region of Afghanistan. Where even is it anyway? This Afghanistan place. Here, take the paper for yourself, as a little memento of this great deduction. Oh, thank you. I've absorbed all that is of interest to me within its pages, but I see no rubbish bin nearby. The article about the revolutionary has been added to the court record. We're not in court, whatever. An article from the front page of a Russian newspaper. The headline reads, Revolutionary Villain Bolshevik. His name is literally Villain. Flees Russia via Shanghai. So we're not in Shanghai, we're on a boat. And you may find the article on the back page of interest as well. On the back? Cast your eye over it sometime if the interest takes you, though you may need someone to interpret. It's all written in Russian. I couldn't hope to read it. But I suppose it wouldn't hurt just to glance at the article. Maybe there might be a picture or two. Mr. Sholmes, tell us, please. What two facts were apparent to you when you came into this cabin this morning? Ah, yes. But first, let us be precise. The two facts in question were immediately apparent to me. Yes, I understand, but what were they? Allow me to elucidate. The two facts that I deduced from a mere momentary glance at the scene of the crime were as follows. Number one, the cabin was locked from within, rendering escape of the culprit out of the question. Number two, the victim was Russian and killed following a dispute with an acquaintance. Hold on, Mr. Sholmes. What makes you think the victim was Russian? Observe the dying message left by the victim on the floor. Tapaypob. That's the Russian word for wardrobe. Do you really think Kazuma-sama could have left a dying message in Russian? In the final moments, many find their native tongue filling their head. For this young man, Russian. Kazuma was Russian, was he? With a name like Kazuma? Of course. Initially, I considered Garderob. Maybe the name of a killer. A certain Robert Gard, perhaps. But in the interest of thoroughness, I decided it would be wrong not to look inside the wardrobe to hear, at least, where you found Mr. Naruhodo-san sleeping soundly. Quite so. I found you. The renowned Russian revolutionary killer. Why is it that I'm Russian too? I observed that you were wearing the same attire as the victim. In other words, you were acquainted. And if my memory serves, that outfit is the traditional dress of the Russian people. Our school uniforms are the traditional dress of Russian people? I had no idea. Everyone is an idiot! And I had no idea a detective could get something so wrong. I took a photograph of the victim and the message that I might analyze it for possible hidden details. This was taken immediately after the young man was discovered, before the body was removed. Yes, Kazuma had already been taken away when I woke up. This is the first time I've actually seen him like this. This is devastating because he was my best friend, or I don't know. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yes, thank you. The Russian word for wardrobe in purple ink. It would appear to have been written in the victim's final moments, in a tongue that he couldn't even write in. Can I ask you something, Mr. Sholmes?
What, pray?
You mentioned Russia before as well, didn't you? You know, when you said I was a fearsome revolutionary fleeing from Russia and all that.
Ah, yes. The train of reasoning that led me to the truth.
Would you mind explaining that train of reasoning to me, do you think?
Koheyo! Certainly, if that interests you.
How many times? I'm not Russian, and I don't speak Russian.
I'm gonna pronounce the worst Russian words ever whenever they show them to me. So, I believe I've given you enough to consider for the time being, at least.
Ah, do you have somewhere to go?
As it happens, the victim's writings in his diary have piqued my interest. The matter warrants further investigation, I believe. And if I'm still too long, the seasickness takes hold.
Oh, I suppose. You're thinking of investigating the cabin next door, which the ventilator connects to?
Great detectives are a curious breed. Our minds rebel at stagnation. We crave mental exhaustion. So yes, I intend to investigate. Hence, the truth will become clear soon enough.
Do you think perhaps that we could go with you?
No. I don't think I will. I mean, that would be somewhat complicated.
But why?
A simple glance at your wrist should reveal the answer.
Oh, these.
After all, you're the prime suspect in this matter, no?
There's no point in trying to turn that into a question. You're the one who decided I was the culprit in the first place.
Whatever do you mean? I have no recollection of naming you as the culprit at any point.
You must be joking. You just said it only a moment ago.
Dear me, you are clearly misguided. I would have no cause to say such a thing.
Well, actually, Mr. Sholmes, I did hear you say that too.
You're quite sure? That's very strange. I wouldn't have said that you had the face of a criminal. You know? Not really.
So what, were you looking at my knees before? Some great detective you are.
Well, anyway, that was then and this is now.
What do you mean?
What I mean, sir, is this. If you are the culprit, then you must play the part more convincingly. Roll over and accept your fate. Ha 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 ha.
Now he's just being plain rude. And off he goes, having just laughed in my face. His sense of humor is as twisted as his name.
Oh, they pointed out that his name isn't Sherlock Holmes.
Naruhodo-san, what are you just standing there for? Huh? We must go and investigate the cabin next door as well! Aren't you forgetting something about these? There's no way I can... Hiya! After Cosmo spent his dying moments struggling to leave us a clue, you're willing to give up? You're going to just roll over and accept fate? Ugh, as if you gave me any choice in the rolling over part. I think we still have some investigation to finish off in here first, don't we?
I don't know about you saying hiya.
Hiya! Or whatever. Yeah. Let's carry on examining what we can in this cabin while we wait for a chance to slip next door. Good idea. I really like holding my wrists up to the camera over and over again. The situation doesn't look good for me, but there are still plenty of things I can do to help myself. And I owe it to Cosmo to do everything I can to find a way out of this, and bring the real culprit to justice. Is that? Is something wrong, Naruhodo-san? Oh, no. It's just that crewman standing by the door. I can't help but feeling like I've seen him somewhere before, when he bashed you over the head and killed Cosmo, probably. Oh yes, you're right. He does look familiar. Excuse me, sir.
Yes, what is I can do for you? Oh! It's Yokosuka. It's Sasuke. It's Honduras. Sayonara. I recognize that face, but it can't be. It is. I didn't know you were here, Inspector Hosonaga. Hosonaga, there we go. Hello again. What are you doing here? I think that should be my line. I was so stunned when I saw you, my heart stopped. Nearly stopped, I hope. I received some special orders to go undercover as a member of the crew and board this ship. Again? You certainly seem to enjoy undercover work, Inspector. If there's anything I can do to help you, please ask. I never expected to see this man on board, but perhaps his presence can help me out with this hopeless situation. Special orders. So, what are your special orders this time, Inspector? Yes, and why are you dressed as a member of the crew? I'm sorry. Huh? This is all my fault. I take full responsibility. For what? My orders were to act as Asogi-san's bodyguard. It was the Minister of Justice Chikogu who pushed for this overseas study tour to go ahead. And he entrusted me with ensuring that Asogi-san reached Great Britain without being assassinated. Wow, you suck. Assassinated? How could that have even been a possibility? I'm not sure. But these are complicated times. There are tensions between the world's greatest powers. Minister Chikogu said that we should be prepared for all eventualities. This is incredible. I don't believe it. Kazuma-sama was assassinated? Obviously, we couldn't give Asogi-san a visible security escort. Which is why I'm undercover now, posing as one of the crew. I see. And I didn't take my eyes off him the entire time we've been on board, from morning till night, every day. But I never imagined it would happen here inside his own cabin, not here on the first-class deck. I failed miserably at my assignment, and Asogi-san is dead as a result. I'm a disgrace. All I can do is humbly apologize. Inspector. So if there's anything at all that I can do to help now, just say the word. Permission to investigate. We're doing what we can to investigate Kazuma's death ourselves. I thought you might be. You didn't do it, did you? You're not the killer? Of course not. We'd really like to investigate the cabin next door. Yes, we need to be allowed out of this cabin. I'm sorry. What? You've been deemed a risk to the ship's safety. If you move to even touch the handle of the cabin door, that stormy-looking seaman there would surely snap your neck in two. Duh. I suppose I'm not just a stowaway now. They think I'm a murderer as well. Would it be possible to give me something to work with, do you think? I'm going to need something persuasive. What do you mean? If I had a solid reason as to why the next door cabin should be investigated, for example, I'd do everything I could to persuade the captain to allow it. Really, I'd lay my life on the line if I had to. But I don't see how. There may be a way. What? Really? Think of how you tried to persuade me of your innocence, Naruhodo-san.
by presenting me with a new piece of evidence that you already had in your possession.
I did not do that. I literally... Oh, you mean when I showed her my badge? Never mind, I did do that. Evidence?
It's just this. It's just the same as when you were in court. You must have done it many times during your trial. Simply select the present panel and choose some evidence that Inspector Hosonaga could use.
So, evidence that would give us a viable reason to investigate the next door cabin, is it? Alright, yes. I think I might know what we can use. Let's see if I can present the detective with evidence that he needs to persuade the captain. Present the thing that talks about the speckled band, the golden band. What's that? It's Kazuma's diary.
Just before he died, Kazuma-sama wrote something rather strange in his diary.
Strange? In what way?
He wrote what looks like some kind of speckled. He wrote what looks like some kind of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill.
A speckled band? That is strange. Yes, we're still trying to work out what he meant by that. What I'd like to know is it's a snake.
Don't tell me, the ventilator, is it? You're very astute, Inspector.
That ventilator clearly joins the next door cabin. That's right, so if we can investigate in there, we might be able to work out what the speckled band was. Alright then. I can't leave this cabin at the moment. I'm stuck here until we arrive at the next port. The cabin has given me strict orders to guard the scene of the crime, you see. I'll have to entrust the investigation to you.
Really? You're willing to do that?
Yes, as long as you don't leave the first-class cabin area. I'm afraid I can't remove those handcuffs, though. But what about the captain? Aren't you going against his direct orders?
Ahem, ahem.
I'm a man of my word. So he's gonna watch the room.
I promise you that I will lay my life on the line, if that's what it takes to convince the captain.
After all, I failed to keep Asogi-san safe. This is the least I can do. Oh, good guy Hosonaga. Thank you.
Let's seize the moment then, Naruhodo-san. Let's select move, and we can leave this cabin at last.
Move? Alright, let's see what we can find out. First class passageway. January 9th, 7:48 a.m. SS Berea, first class cabin passageway. Whew, I'm finally out of that cabin. I have to admit, this isn't quite what I was expecting. It's less spacious out here than I thought it would be, and this is the most luxurious accommodation.
Yes, indeed. Kazuma-sama was being sent on this study tour by the government. That's why he was being put up in a first-class cabin. Even still, this is about twice as large as my accommodations and steerage.
Really? That must be awful. Oh, look over there. That's another crewman keeping watch, and he looks enormous even when sitting down. You can even see his belly button.
The door next to him leads to the second-class accommodation. I suppose he's making sure that no one comes in here who shouldn't.
I suppose. Like people in handcuffs?
Naruhodo-san, you look like a little boy visiting a toy store for the first time.
I know, I'm like, cover up your belly button, dude.
I would have thought that you'd be used to the ship by now. We've been at sea for 2 weeks already.
Well, yes, I know, but the thing is, I was inside Kazuma's trunk when I first came aboard. And ever since then, I've been shut up inside that little wardrobe.
It must have been a very trying time for you.
Please, don't give me that pitying look. I'm getting sleepy too. He's wearing a men's belly shirt from the 80s. I know. Well, we can't converse with him either. But we can look at his belly shirt. Here. Excuse me, but could I ask you something? You little stowaway murderer. That wasn't a good start, was it? I know, his belly's gonna haunt my nightmares. At least it's off screen when you talk to him. I know, once I'm done with this dialogue, I'll probably save and go to sleep because I'm getting real sleepy.
Alright, let me try instead. Good day, Mr. Sailor. I'm so sorry to trouble you, but could I perhaps ask something of you?
You little third-class lady maid.
Oh.
I love you too. Yeah, it has been fun. Thanks for watching. Well, I'm glad. We seem to have got the sailor on a bad day, Susato-san. I'm not a sailor. My mother gave me name. I am senior crewman, Biff Stroganoff. Ooh, the best thing is just to avoid eye contact, I think. So Biff is a bad guy named in Back to the Future, and Stroganoff is a... Is Beef... Oh, I'm sorry. Beef Stroganoff.
Is beef stroganoff a Russian dish? I know my mom makes it. And she's Russian. She's half Russian. Beef stroganoff. Origin? Or something? Russia. He's a Russian guy named Beef Stroganoff. Originated in Russia in the early 1900s. My mom makes a pretty good beef stroganoff. It's pretty good. Uses a lot of like sour cream and salt and noodles and beef, and there's other stuff too. It's quite good. Ooh, the best thing is to just avoid eye contact, I think. First class cabin area. Mr. Stroganoff. About the first class cabin area. Here we are in finest part of Burya steamship for very important persons. What sort of very important persons? Government officials, kings and queens, traveling in secret. Many important persons. That is why I am always guarding place. Gosh, that's amazing. But somehow I let stupid stowaway inside. I want to pick you up and throw you in the ocean, but Stroganoff not animal. Thank you? If I may, I was wondering, is the cabin next to Mr. Asogi's currently occupied? Ah. Susato-san, did you understand that? It sounded like da. I think that's probably Russian for yes, or no. Genius. It is not permitted to visit other cabin without invitation. I'm just giving all the Russian guys the same Russian voice for some reason. Well, it sounds like there's somebody in the next door cabin at least. Yes, it's tantalizing. Passenger next door cabin. Could you tell us who's traveling in the cabin next to Mr. Asogi's? His name is Mr. Grimesby Rylot. Well, he's the villain. His name is Grimesby. He is a very important person, Western gentleman. A Western gentleman? Yeah, yes, all the Westerners are evil. Do not think about it. He has nothing to do with the murder of student boy. How can you be so sure about that? Mr. Roylott is an authentic Western gentleman. Grimesby? I think it was Grimesby. I think it was Grimesby. Such a man would have no interest in low student from insignificant Far Eastland. That was harsh. We'll be culturally relevant once we invent anime. Could you tell us when Mr. Roylott came aboard? That is not your business. Come to think of it, even though we've been at sea for 2 weeks now, I've been in Cosmo's cabin this entire time, and I've never once heard anything from the next door cabin, or even felt like anyone's there. Well, presumably since this gentleman is occupying one of the first-class cabins, he must be rather important. Isn't that right? That is not your business. Last night. Are you on watch here all the time, Seaman Stroganoff? Duh, all the time. All time. So criminals like you cannot come in or get out. I wonder, could you tell us anything about last night at all? It is said about student boy. Were you on watch last night as well? Seaman Stroganoff. Have you ever looked at beef stroganoff and seen what color the sauce is? That's all I'm saying. And I'm done with that comment now, and we're moving on. Of course. And did you notice anything at the time? Anything unusual? Niet. Susato-san, did you understand that? It was clearly a no. I saw nothing unusual, nothing at all. And you didn't hear any strange noises or sense anything that was wrong in some way? I said no. Sorry. I'm not so sure. I could have sworn that he wouldn't catch my eye for a moment there. Yeah, he kind of looked away. He was like, This is enough. I cannot say more now. Oh. It is time for me to report to Captain. You must return to cabin. Yes, alright. Bulkhead to second class area is staying locked at all times. You escape when lobster whistles on top of mountain, or as English say, when pigs fly. Yes, I understand. Good. Now we can investigate the area properly, shall we? Definitely. Okay. So I'm going to look at like one thing, and then that's it. That's the way to the second class area of the ship. Is something wrong? I was thinking about making a run for it, just for a moment. Things aren't exactly going well for me. I might be wrong, but I imagine the moment you reach for the handle of the door, that burly seaman would surely shoot you dead. Oh dear, I'm sorry. Perhaps I went a little too far there? No, I started it with my talk of running away. And there's no way I could run away while Kazuma's death remains a mystery anyway. Alright, we investigate more next time on Whenever I Stream. I'm tired. I am sleepy. I am Russian, too. But, like, actually, though. Not, like, for fakesies. Like, for realsies. I'm 1/4 Russian. Alright, I love you, too. Thanks for watching. Good night, my favorite Russian. Good night, my favorite Portuguese. I don't know what else you want me to say. Wait, no, it's not Portuguese. It's Puerto Rican. No, wait. It's one of those. It's a port. It's a port somewhere. Anyway, good night. I'm Palestinian, not Portuguese. No, the other one. Puerto Rican. I knew it was a port. I'm tired. Okay. Anyway, good night. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in.